And the first bit of kick news that we're going to be going over this morning has to deal with this bad boy right here. The Kick community guidelines has gotten an update and has changed. And well, you might ask yourself, well, what changed here? Now you can go to the Kick community guidelines website and kind of see, and read through it a little bit. And uh yeah, basically there's a bit of a rundown here. There's a bit of a rundown here about what's going on and all this and that. It's changed a good amount, but ultimately some of it hasn't changed, some of it has. You got to kind of really look into it a little bit as well, right? You gotta kind of look into it a little bit as well. But basically, some other people already looked into the community guidelines, and we have a couple different things now. Ultimately, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how true some of this stuff is or not, but ultimately, this kind of stuff has already been kind of there, right? Tons of updated information about child sexual abuse material and protection of minors, which comes directly after the incident that we had happen a little while ago with that YouTube video coming out about one of the Kick streamers, and then as well as staff members getting involved, including Eddie, the CEO of Kick as well, or the co-founder of Kick. But his involvement was, it wasn't, he didn't really know anything going on. But the other staff member, that was not, good. Okay. Then there's a lot of other materials that are people promising like like nudity videos or whatever based on the support on their stream and stuff. Those kind of things got changed too, obviously. So like promise of rewards or services through gifting for performing sexual acts. So that's something in the guidelines, again, against the rules now, which I mean, of course, makes sense, right? It makes sense. And technically it should have been already against the rules in the first place, but we're going to get over that here in just a second. And then there's a revamp of violence and hate speech section, which is this whole section right here. But again, it's all pretty much, let's be honest, this whole community guidelines, a lot of it is kind of common sense, right? It is common sense between the rights and wrongs. Um, so again, we're gonna talk about it here a little bit, but let's see here. So they made apply. Okay, so the guidelines apply to the audio, vision, visual imagery, comments, so chat messages, gifs, emotes, and all other gifts and follower alerts, sub alerts, stuff like that, and all other forms of content and communication which may be consumed from viewing or streaming on our platform. So basically, they just kind of ironed out ironed out directly, kind of focusing their guidelines a little bit more and trying to make it a bit more clear. Now, what does this really mean? Well, they're just covering their butts. Okay, they're just covering their butts. We've had this stuff going on in the past, couple of days. Happened a week or two ago, or I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, that one major issue happened. And well, this is kind of a bit of a response of that. And again, they're increasing their community guidelines and kind of adjusting it a little bit, which makes sense. Okay, which makes sense. They're going to do that. They have to. Exactly, you are right. They kind of have to kind of update to it. Now the question is, well, that's good and all that this is updated, but ultimately a lot of that stuff wasn't allowed on the platform before anyways. I mean, some of this stuff was already not allowed on the platform, but yet there was no moderation behind it. There was no actual actions taking place as to when somebody does that issue or does that problem. So this kind of just like, again, it's cool and all, it's great and all, awesome that the community guidelines is updated as they should be, but ultimately a good amount of this stuff was kind of against the rules to begin with. Obviously, some of it, technically wasn't or whatever, but it's more clear now, even more clear than it was before. So the question always comes down to, will it be enforced, or will it be enforced correctly or well? Because obviously, again, with that incident a couple weeks ago, which kind of helped influence, some other categories of this, um, there was a staff member in that stream that frequented that stream and didn't watch it. Now, it's really hard. Now, I will say a big issue with stuff like this, I would say it tends to come from, like, the IRL section, right? The IRL section, as well as the Omegle section. Omegle's cool and all, but only if you do it correctly, because most of the time Omegle is a really bad place to be. It's a very yeah, that's why Twitch banned it, right? Twitch banned it. And I found that quite interesting here. So I mean, it's good and all, but they should have had these guidelines way before. Um, yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, you're right. They should have had these guidelines way before, but they didn't. Right, they didn't, or at least they sort of had them, but they were too broad. So um, they wanted to, kind of streamline it a little bit more and direct it more at that. So yeah, I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think of the guidelines here. Again, no, I don't really know what the guidelines looked like before. I'm not quite sure if I looked at them before, but you could do like a whole comparison between sections that changed, things that changed and stuff. I did record a video of me going through all of Kick, but I don't remember if I went through the guidelines or not. I hope I did, but I almost want to say I didn't. Or no, oh no, I definitely did. So maybe I could do a comparison. I did record a video of the guidelines before, so I could do like a comparison between what changed, right? So, but yeah, anyways, there you go. There's your community guidelines change. Again, it's great, it's cool stuff, it's kind of stuff that they have to do, but it always comes down to the question of, will they enforce it or not? We don't know. So yeah.